So it's been a whole year since I received my Lumix S5IIX in the mail, and I've been using it exclusively for my day-to-day work since then. And let's just say it was good back then, and now it's even better since they rolled out a couple updates in the last couple of months. So today I'm going to give you an honest rundown on this bad boy to see if it's something that's good for you and your workflow. Okay, let's be honest. Lumix has never been known for their autofocus until now. I come from using the GH5 and the S1H, and let's just say those two cameras have turned me into a manual focus magician. But now with the S5IIX, the autofocus is dialed in. Now you can just turn that bad boy on and you're gonna know that you're gonna have everything in focus, even in fast moving situations. And that was back then when I first got it. Over the last 2 months, they just dropped a new update for the autofocus and it's gotten even better. The autofocus after the update now is not only body, face, and eye, but you could also track cars, motorcycles, and animals. If you thought the autofocus was good back then, wait until you try it now. This one is something that I want to scream from the top of the mountains. The camera delivers in low light. It has a dual native ISO of 640 and 4000 in log, and if you pair that with like a 1.4 lens or a 1.2, it is incredible. I brought this thing out to the mountains with me and I was able to get images like this in the dead of night. If you look at my work, you know I like to shoot in high contrast situations with a lot of deep shadows, and having this in my arsenal has been game changing. If you're a color grading fiend, this next one's for you. The amount of push and pull you can do on these images is just absolutely out of this world. You can mold your images without having to stress that you're gonna break them. Listen, I love to push my images to the brink, and I've never had to worry about the images breaking with the S5IIX. Something I don't see people talking about often about this camera is how good the starting point is when you convert your footage from log to Rec 709. Like, this camera renders colors beautifully, and once you do that conversion, you have such a good starting point that honestly you don't really have to work on it too much. And the other thing, the highlight recovery on this camera is insane. As long as you expose your image right, you could really bring down those highlights and remove the harshness from lights on faces, or you could recover highlights from the sky, and you could do it in a breeze. And if you weren't a color fiend before this, you will after you try this camera. This next one goes out to you guys who are editing on laptops and you're spending hours making proxies. Those days are gone. Lumix added this feature where you could record your high quality footage onto your SSD or your first SD card slot, and then it automatically makes proxies in the second SD card slot. That is absolutely game changing. Gone are the days of sitting there and watching your proxies getting made. Like, now you have them in your second SD card slot and you could just get to work. And if you thought that last one was crazy, wait until you hear this one. Lumix and Frame.io have partnered to give you camera to cloud integration. Now you can record in real time, and the second you stop that recording, it gets sent through the cloud to Frame.io. This is absolutely insane for client work. You could be recording on set, stop that recording, and it's going straight to your editor. And if you're a YouTuber and you have an editor, you could stop recording, it goes straight to your editor, and they can start working on whatever project that you need. And you're gonna have content flying out the window after that. At this point, I've only been talking positively about this camera, so now let's talk about some of the downsides. This camera does a lot of things right, but one of the things that I need to bring to your attention is the rolling shutter. And especially if you start using longer lenses, like, you could really start seeing those vertical lines move. I shoot a lot of fitness content, so a lot of my stuff is handheld and I have to whip and follow athletes, and that's when I really start to see it in my images. But if you're not going to be using it in that way, then it should be fine. And one of the questions that I got asked a ton about this camera is about moire, if it has it or not, and this one's for you, buddy. I have noticed some moire in some images, so if that's something that's super important for you, then this camera definitely has it. So yeah, that's my 1 year with this camera, and I honestly love this camera, and it feels like it only gets better as time progresses. So yeah, if this camera seems like it's going to fit in your workflow, I have a link in the bio for you to pick one up, and if you like it, please message me. I want to know how you're feeling with it and your experience with it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.